Hey everyone. So if you're anything like me, you once in a while get these really cool bags that have advertisements all over them and they're just really neat. And I hoard them. I like to keep them and put them in the center of my journals or make a journal out of them. And I have had this one for so long. And today I saw, or last night I saw a picture. I haven't watched the full video yet. It was Charlotte Peterson, and she was making ephemera holders out of paper bags. And I thought, wow, she has some really cool bags because they were already stamped and pre-made, what have you. And I thought, all the stamps that I have, why can't I make my own? You don't even have to have bags. You can use envelopes, and they don't have to be the craft. They could be white envelopes, any kind of paper, packing paper. I have white packing paper and brown packing paper. Just grab whatever you have. And of course, I always have these kind of bags, and that is what I made mine out of. But we're going to make our own decorated paper bags. And it's going to take no time. We're going to make, I think I made 10 pockets out of one of those. And it's kind of cool because you think of it kind of like a masterboard. So you take your whatever you have, whether it's a paper bag or just a flat sheet of packing paper, unfold it, and I cut the end off of mine, opened it up. I'm going to go ahead and show you how I did mine. You can do this all kinds of ways, but I'll show you how I did mine. I'll probably do it differently next time. But like on this one, I opened up this little bottom and I cut off both ends, both of these ends, which gave me this. Okay, so when I glue it to a page, I'm going to glue this side and the bottom, and I'm going to have a pocket, just like that. And I just inked around this piece, and I only inked around the top, because this is how I'm going to set it up. On my page. Well, I'll just show you. I have a autumn journal here that I'm working on, and this is what I have planned for it. I have a piece of scrapbook paper that would be difficult to write on. It's beautiful. The backside is more solid, so you could write on it. So I try to keep all my pockets away from the writing spots. But this one, I think you could write on it, but it would be hard to see maybe. So my thinking is, this is how I'm going to set it up. This is the bottom that I cut off. I inked the top. This is some of the long piece that I have left over. And I'll show you how I did that. And I'm going to put it along the bottom. And then I have just a little, this was a plain brown paper bag. And I stamped it. So I'm going to put it something like this on my page. And I think that looks so neat, because then you're going to have one pocket here, one pocket behind here. Here, if I just glued the three sides of that one, I would have a pocket back here. Or I could glue these three sides and have a tuck out the side. So you have multiple pockets on one page. It's eye-pleasing. I think it's very interactive and just makes this page a lot of fun. So that's how I'm going to use some of my pockets that I've stamped. These are the other pieces that I have, and I don't have them, I just did the one side. I don't know what I'm going to do with these yet. These will go in my stock. Here's some more. And if you think of it like kind of like a masterboard. So I opened up my bag. You could open it up all the way and make your own size bags. But this is how I did it. I opened it and folded it back on the crease that's already there. There's so many things to do with this. Even as I'm doing it, I'm thinking of different ways I could have done it. And then I cut off, left a lip from the crease so that when I glued them to the page, they wouldn't be perfectly flat. There would be a little, there would be room, because I'll use this little hinge as part of that side of the pocket. So I do the same on the other side, just left a little bit of lip on the other side of that crease. You can use your paper cutter or whatever. And then I turn them over and I just stamped with anything and everything. But another thing that you could do, and then, sorry, I'm getting sidetracked. I'm so excited about this. There's so many things to do. So the piece that you tore off, you can cut that or just fold it over and you'll have a horizontal pocket. And you don't even have to stamp all the pieces because as you saw in my cluster, you don't want them all to be stamped or it's probably too much to look at. It's kind of overwhelming. But if you have some that are plain and some that are stamped, I think it looks nice like that. So you can leave some brown or whatever. So what I did at this point was I just stamped, just random stamped on the one side. And then I flipped them over where I couldn't see and made the size pockets that I wanted. Kind of, like I said, it reminded me of a masterboard, because when you make a masterboard, you flip it. I do. Flip it and cut it. And I never know what I'm going to get. And that's kind of how these were. But something, if you were a more precise person and you liked, more of this kind of look, how easy would it be just to grid off, take a black marker and your ruler. Now, I'm going to try this, but okay, everybody knows how I am with the ruler already. This is a 4, or yeah. So I'm just going to line it off one side just to show you kind of what I'm talking about. And I'm sure this will not be straight, because I'm just going to do random, just do it like a grid and make random squares. And that's fun too, because as I was stamping, I wasn't doing it in any kind of pattern. I was just, I'd stamp here, then I would stamp down here, and then fill it in, like you would do in a masterboard. So then I'm going to do something like this. And different sizes. I would make these boxes different sizes because they are on one that's you would find out somewhere. I mean, they're not exact sizes. Maybe do one like this and this. Again, I'm just making different size boxes. Doesn't matter if you go over line, because when you start stamping, none of that's going to matter. I'm just basically using the ruler to draw my lines, even though they're not straight. Okay, so now you have your grid. So now what I would do, again, this is not, I'm not precise, obviously, but I think you could, one thing you could do is you could just stamp the whole thing with script. Something like this, where you didn't have to worry that the holes were filled in or whatever. But I mean, look at this. They're not all the way. So, I mean, it doesn't have to be perfect. And you don't have to have a stamp exactly the size of your square. So, probably what I would do, this is how I would do it. And I wouldn't get precise about it. Like I say, I would go all directions and just maybe on the edges of your boxes, or maybe we don't care. We just random stamp like this. Okay? And then you take your stamps. If you want to match them up to the size of your box, that's good too. However works for you. And I do know that I'm doing this stamping wrong. You're supposed to bring your stamp pad to your deal, but I don't do it that way. So, and I would stamp it in one of these boxes, just like that. And then I would get, and this is a good way to use up the stamps that come, stamps usually come in a set of different things. And there's always one on there that I think, how am I ever going to use that? Like this little hat that comes on here. I stamped that on my collage piece that I made. I thought it was neat, because it's just random things. So I'm going to put this one up here. And just continue filling out your squares. If you don't have a stamp that will fit in the square, it doesn't even have to fill it. It doesn't have to be perfect. Use it. If you have any texture stamps, use those. And then, like, if you think there's too much room in this one, go back with your script, put a little bit more in there, or take some numbers and fill out the rest. Just do it lightly, and don't the whole thing where it looks like it's meant to be that way. On my number step, I'll probably put it in this one, and I don't want it to go over the box. I don't know why, but I'm going to do it like this. Lay down a piece of paper where it doesn't go over the side, and my grids are still kind of there. But I think you get the gist of where I'm going with that. See, doesn't that remind you of a bag that you would get when you purchase something? I think it's similar. I like that. And they don't all have to be the same thing either, because like this has shirts and toothpaste, and I think that's a radio, so just random do everything. Stamp them off the side, make it look, if you really look at one of these bags, they're far from perfect. And I think that's what you're going for. They don't even have to be an advertisement kind of stamp. This one is, and I don't even know what it is, but I'm going to stamp it on there. Said I wasn't going to finish this, but I kind of feel like I should. And I'm just doing this hurriedly, so I'm sure that my stamps are not, straight and all the things. So I have a lot of room here. I'll probably just take my little script stamp, fill that in some. And to me, that looks so cool. So that was part of the same stamp. I just used a piece of it up top, which I didn't have room for the whole thing. And I put the other piece down at the bottom, and it looks like two totally different things. And now it looks like you have an advertisement bag, or to me it does. I'll probably go around with some more script and fill in some little places. I also have any kind of different print will work. Like there's some print on that, so I'm going to use it to fill in like that. But I think that looks neat. And you have your own decorated bag. I mean, it's comparable, right? And you can use it as a bag. We could have left this whole, folded it, use it as a bag. I'm going to, like I said, flip it over, cut pockets to use in my journals. I hope that you like this idea. Maybe it inspired you to create some things. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.